Hello, hello. Let's see. Oh. Hello, hello, John. Welcome, man. How goes it? Merry Christmas and a happy Festivus. We need to get rid of possible phone issue. If we can turn down the volume. So how goes it? Hope everyone's having or has had a wonderful Christmas. Yeah. Loss is always really, really tough. And the hardest part is the people that are left behind. That's the hard part. A lot of the time, it's not even the person that has passed. It's they transition. It's more the people that are left behind that have to mourn the passing. And I would suggest celebrating a person's life, how they lived, more so than how they died. So yeah, so pardon me while I try to there we go. There we go. Beautiful. That works. Yes, I'm beeping. I'm trying to get rid of the beep. That's what I'm trying to do. Ringer setting. Ringer volume. Okay. Bam, 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 bam. Save. Yes. Okay. Now we're good. Now the phone won't ring. That's fantastical. Hey, Q. How you feeling? I hear your allergies are acting up. I'm sorry. I'll send some good juju your way. Mwah. Because allergies suck. I don't have them. I think just being Portuguese changes all of that. All your allergies. So, sending good juju your way. Having a little bit of red wine. Finishing it off because the bottle had just a little bit left. So I was like, oh, might as well. Itchy. Oh, man. That's tough when so far out they're itchy because it's very annoying. Yes, cheers. It's a nice red wine too. It's very, very yummy. And we're in a different part of my house. Why? Because we can do that. Moving around. But the surface area, yeah. I know. No kidding. But it's always, it's something where allergies are never fun, for sure. but it's finding out what they are, and a lot of times it's just such a mystery. So I don't wish allergies on anyone. They could be such a pain and never fun. But yes, but cheers. And also love to the pups. Give lots of loves, hugs, and kisses and scritchy scratches on their bellies and everything to the pups. They're very famous or infamous, by the way. True story. I got to see them at the airport. So it was really nice. And there are plans on potentially making it over to Arizona again. So we'll see. Hopefully. Hoping. Fingers crossed. Yeah, they're so cute. Can't help it. Kids and animals. Adults, it could be a little sketchy sometimes with adults. But kids and animals, love them. 2 pieces. I just love giving them loves and stuff. So yeah, this is one of the few episodes you actually see me actually drinking something. Because normally I don't even drink water on my episodes. Gotta be professional. You know what I'm saying? But it's Christmas. It is Christmas. But welcome, and I'm so glad you guys are here. And hopefully, Q, you are relaxed and you know, just chilling in a cozy spot, lighting down low, all that good stuff. And we have Ariel in the house. Also, too, I have to give a shout out to any of my students catching the replay. A few of my students, I actually, they asked me about social media, so they're actually on my social media, and I am on theirs, even though I may not understand what they're saying, but the pictures are pretty. Once I learn to read Korean, then I'll be in better shape. But yeah. But today's episode is about, you know, kind of like a summary of the year, the energy of the year, how things have been, what I've picked up from it, what I've perceived from it, things that I've just kind of picked up as we've gone along, and how to end the year in a good way, and that kind of thing, to move on to the bigger and better and brighter and more awesome 2018, because it's got to get better. So it's been a mixed bag. That's for sure. Yeah, it was definitely like a mixed bag of stuff. Some good, some not so good, some really not so good. Yeah. Could have been better. Definitely could have been worse. For sure. And also, too, coming up as well, I don't know if you guys can see me all right. Make sure I'm centered and stuff over here. I know. It's very organic, this show. You get the organic back in the view of what's what. I just realized that picture frame behind me, I'm naked. But not at this age, so it's safe. That's when naked is appropriate and cute. But yes. But we've experienced so much this year, and I want to get into that, and kind of go into like kind of an overall summary of the energy, the mixed energy, how we've gotten, you know, from point A to point B. Where can we go with what's going on now? All of that. So it's going to be pretty nice. And I'm so glad you're here, Q. It's very, very good stuff. It's always good stuff to have Q in. And also, I might as well I might as well say, Q, you made an appearance. You've made an appearance in the Journey show. You have a mention in the show, and possibly bloopers as well. I still have to go through that and edit a little bit more, but yes. Yeah. The bloopers aren't necessarily out yet, but yeah. But that part, yeah. That was just the we had to figure out how to take care of Insight 1, the Journeys 1 episode, and figure that out, because that was just all good intentions, all good plans, but between connectivity, between there was a lot going on. It was a very, very interesting, challenging trip, and very self-reflective overall. So 2, the second time going over, it was different. More footage, more planning, and we're looking at probably, I don't know, the show probably will be at least, I think, about an hour and a half, give or take, long, once it's fully edited and everything, and then attaching bloopers, outtakes, all of that stuff. So I think it's going to be really good. So what I see, yes, the second Journeys, where I was there. So it's going to be good. But it's West Coast Wanderlust. That's going to be the new one. Yeah, so you figure at least an hour and a half for that. But it's going to be good. I think it's going to be great. I enjoyed the making of it. I enjoyed the footage I caught. And I can honestly say all of it was very organic, very non-scripted, very, duct tape was involved. Yeah, duct tape. That's an old fix everything remedy, duct tape. Musicians use it all the time. But yeah, duct tape was involved. It was, yes, ghosts and duct tape and bloopers and all kinds of great stuff. So yeah, I was looking forward to finally get everything done. And we're looking at hopefully getting completely everything updated, all the shows, all the finished edited shows uploaded within the next couple of weeks. So that should be done within the next couple of weeks, because I have to crack the whip, because it's got to be done, because it's just crazy, so behind, life getting in the way. It's been difficult. So when last meeting, finding out that your something like 40 shows need to be uploaded that are edited already, and then like 20 of them need to be finished with the new stuff that we've put together. So it's going to be a lot of new things. New intro, new outro, much just better quality overall, which is really good. Merchandise is coming up, so also looking to launch merchandise in the new year. So looking about that, it's going to be happening too. Hello, Beth. What's happening? You're awake. Hope you're doing well there. So yeah, so logo has to get finished, and merchandise is going to get launched in the new year, or soon, maybe before the new year, depending on how far we get. What else? New intro, new outro, new channel trailer, new everything. Yeah, it's gonna be good. And if you have any of you have suggestions for what type of merch you would like to see, definitely let me know. So I know Michael has been on top of that as well. So I think Michael will be one of the first people to get. Yeah, I think that Michael's one of the first people who's probably going to be ordering merchandise. Just he's been like, so when are you launching? When are you doing it? Come on, when are you doing it? When? And also too, absolutely without a doubt, everything that's going to be sold under the Inside the Moonshadow brand will definitely. Oh, fridge magnets. Okay, that's possible. He is mega supportive. And also, anything that is sold under the brand will be a percentage of the profit is going to go to a charity or multiple charities. So it's true. So I want to start giving back, even though we all know that the economy is not great and not a lot of people making money, I included, but I automatically want to give back. Yeah, you can see hats, tank tops, magnets, cell phone covers. Okay, so we did talk about cell phone covers. Oh yeah, that was the newest thing. And also, that was one of the things that through this particular website that we'll be going through, they actually have baby onesies. OMG. Baby onesies were an option. So I could just totally having a little baby onesie. And Q, I will say this also. I thought of you because I actually thought of trying to find dog clothing. Like a little dog hoodie with inside Moonshadow on it. So even possibly being able to, you could buy a little dog sweater with a hoodie with Inside Moonshadow, the Inside Moonshadow logo, as well as the tagline and the hashtag Be Strong, Be Amazing to You. Yeah. So it's definitely, we're looking at that as well. We just have to find where to do that. And we were thinking about coffee mugs as well. But they have to be moon approved. They can't be these little 8-ounce little, tiny mugs. They have to be moon approved mugs, which is very, very important. That is mega importante because we all love our coffee. Well, they'd be warm. They'd be warm for sure. So that'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be neat. 65 ounces. So yeah, so that'd be kind of neat. Or a dog blanket or something like that. Because even animals, that'd be very, very cool. That'd be very, very cool. A coffee brand? Well, that would require me hooking up with a company, but you never know. I've had a lot of ideas on what other things to do. Like, I actually thought about some particular food stuff, but that starts going into manufacturing more stuff to go into and all that. But you never know. There may be also a separate clothing line that I've been wanting to do for many, many years. But if I start doing well with the launch of the Inside Moonshadow merchandise, there may be, very similar to Life is Good has put out they're a really good brand with clothing, with t-shirts and things like that, with logos, with sayings and cool graphics and all that. I've been thinking about that too. And I already have a couple of ideas for the first couple of things. So it's probably going to be like loungewear, potentially like yoga type athletic stuff, that kind of thing. So we'll see. So working on some possible passive residual income. And if that happens, then hopefully National Geographic or some other, we can hook up somewhere in the way and go from there. So there's a lot of plans, a lot of actual, like, logical, doable, achievable plans that we have in mind what happens. So we'll see. Let's see, I'll move this a little bit closer because I'm sitting way back here. Way in the back. So I have to think about a coffee brand, but that'd be cool. A coffee brand would be unique, would be most excellent. Yes, so we're gonna wait just a couple more minutes and we'll get the show started. But how are you guys? Is it a George Clooney calendar? Did you get another Clooney? Or no? What's the calendar, this one, for this year? There you go. It was? So it was a Clooney calendar. I'm telling you, you are his biggest fan. That's very good. That's really good. Well, I know that I didn't suspect a ton of people would be able. It's Christmas. A lot of you have families, so I didn't expect a lot of people to be here. But it will. But I have not missed a week yet. No matter what day it landed on, whether it was a power outage or, tech troubles, whatever it may be, I've always been here, and I'm not. So, the weekly show has happened, and this is like the 102nd show. And I have also spoken to a couple of people about new topics and new things where there's actually be guests. I've actually been debating on maybe people phoning in on the live stream as well. So I have to sort out the phone thing as well. But that will also be potential. So there's a lot of things that are in the works, a lot of things that are in the hopper, so to speak. So we'll see. And they're all relatively achievable. It's just a fact of implementing them for sure. Definitely. So yeah, in a couple minutes we'll get the formal show started and get going. But hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully you've had a very and a wonderful holiday. Hopefully you weren't too sick. Hopefully you didn't have to work too hard. And hopefully that everything went well, shopping, being out there. I didn't hear in the news of anyone being trampled. I think part of that is because a lot of people probably did online shopping. So a lot of people shopped online, therefore that takes all the muss and fuss out of it. Which is really good. Awesome. So if you're here, do pop in, say hello, let me know that you're here, because it'd be great to give you a shout out as well. And I'm surprised Michael must be with family because he hasn't popped in yet. Yeah, you'd rather do the trampling. I agree with you. I wouldn't want to be the trampolee. Elbows at the ready. Absolutely. I actually just finished some very delicious coffee that I need to finish because I've had it for a while and I've been savoring it. And Taylor's coffee is very, very good. So I've been, so the Taylor's Extra Bold is the hot lava java. Because I have other coffee too. I think it's a Christmas blend. Oh, you've never heard of that one? Oh, I don't know. No kidding. But it's very, very good. That and Green and Black, I believe, is a UK company. It's been a long day. So yeah, and Green and Black is also a very good brand. And the hot chocolate is like awesome. Very, very good and delicious. Yeah, the hot chocolate's really good, the Green and Black. It's organic, it's absolutely delicious. It's really full-bodied, good, delicious chocolate. Hot chocolate's really excellent. And I believe now you can get it here, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'm going to have to do coffee. I can't do coffee too late. Unfortunately, tomorrow happens. Work happens again, so 5 a.m. in the morning happens. But yes, so we're going to get this puppy started. And thank you for you guys being here. I appreciate you guys being here very much so. It's always a pleasure seeing the lovely, friendly faces here in Inside the Moonshadow. So I really appreciate all of you. So before we start, seriously, it's been too long of a day. But yeah, so we'll start, and it's at 27 minutes and 50 seconds. So figure 28. Welcome to Inside the Moonshadow. We have episode 102. And yes, this is Christmas. Hopefully you've had a wonderful holiday and an excellent Christmas. Hopefully the kids are more mellow. And it's finally wound down. Normally I don't start this later in the evening, but with family and children, opening up gifts and all that, it's a melee. Between Yankee swaps and all assorted other zaniness. But in thinking about today, and thinking about today's show, you know how a lot of, presidents will do a State of the Union address. So I kind of thought about doing a State of the World, like a State of the World show kind of thing, where kind of bringing the perception and what has happened in the world and bring it to the show and talking about it and having that conversation. White elephant parties for fellow West Coasters. Well, there you go. But it's been quite a year. It's been a mixed bag of everything in the news. Well, I have informally had to take over or help assist with a very good news program. Cue the news, and that was fun to see. And that was very, very fun to see. So, in essence of that, it might be a little bit of newsy. It might be a little newsy here today. But a lot has happened this year. We have seen things that you would never imagine happen. Things that you would never even remotely ever imagine happen. We've seen corruption. We've seen some of the ugly, and again, I'm not going to get heavily into anything political. This is, I try to keep this to the heart of the matter, the spirit of the matter, and this is where I will continue. But from everything I've experienced as an empath, as well as watching the news, as well as being on the pulse of what's happening around the world, talking to people, having communication and conversation, sharing stories with people, a lot has happened. We're such a mixed bag where it got to the point where family members were pit against family members. If you were a different gender or a different race, you were a suspect. And I will say, disrespectfully suspect. And that's unfortunate. But also, too, as all this stuff is going on, as the world seems to be flipped up on its head, news going on out of control, the news looking more like a football game than it is actual life, which this is life. People's lives are in the balance, right? So watching this live, and watching the news and hearing the things that are said, and watching such a polarization of the world, not just politically, but emotionally, physically, beliefs, faiths, everyone's chimed in on this. You know, it's become, I agree completely, super judgy society with less informed people and chaos and bad news. Exactly. And, oh, geez, you started watching me instead. It's more educational, less depressing. Well, thank you. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. But honestly, too, I've always come from the what can you do part of life and how to exist. It's not easy. So it's very easy to be part of the following crowd, part of society where you just chime in and bitch and moan about things. You know, it's so easy to do that because that's the path of least resistance. And that seemed to have been what was happening in the world. That seems to have what's happening. Now, did anyone happen to bring up this dark underbelly? No, it's always been here. It hasn't changed. But people inciting and manipulating such energy have brought that up. And that's how it's become so polarized as it is. So that's why even people in families, there are certain things that I will not even... It's very true. And it is all in the delivery as well. That's why you see a lot of people, anchors, smiling, which is kind of disconcerting in a way. So you're like, you're sitting here and you're watching the news and it's like 6,000 people died in Abu Dhabi or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wow. So the world has shifted in such a way where energetically it's shifted, spiritually it's shifted, and a lot of things have changed and gone down by the wayside with us. However, this is where it changes. Where I thought personally, and I saw and perceived and witnessed a lot of the negative energy, I also saw a lot of hope. I saw a lot of people that probably would have not stepped up, that stepped up. You had the Black Lives Matter group. You had that. You have the Me Too group that happened this year. People started opening and raising their voices, protesting, being more active, being more socially aware. So if anything of this year that has come about, it's something where we have become more aware of what's happening, and now there's a larger gap. Oh, actually, there's a smaller gap at this point between the unknown, the people that are uneducated, and I'm not saying about school, I'm saying unknown, right, as far as not knowing facts and truth, to people that are actually more mindful and more attentive and more socially aware to what's happening and how they can change the world. So this is where I can say I'm not looking at this from a pessimistic viewpoint. It has been quite a year. So now, a lot of broadcasts, I bring up how you can change things and how you can alter things and how you can perceive things differently, how you could get out of your own way, how you can be more mindful, how to be a better person to yourself as well as others. Because that ultimately, as difficult as that may be to some, that is the better way to go. Not societally, but just as a bunch of people living on the same big blue marble. I believe respect goes a long way. And respect has gone down also. However, there are still people that are going out there, and a lot more live streamers, a lot more people that are protesting, a lot more people that are starting movements on how to change things, whistleblowers, people that are just tired of the same old, and bringing about change. I've seen more social activism in the past year than I've probably seen in a long time. We may have not needed as much before, but now it's come to the beginning. It's come to the forefront. And that, I think, is absolutely amazing. So I have to say one thing about the people that I've seen, the stories, and if you follow my social media, you see a lot of that. There's multiple times that I have teared up with the stuff that I've shared on social media because it is truly heartfelt. So when you look at like a news program, in the last 3 minutes, they have a human interest story, or they have something that's beneficial, or something that's uplifting, or something that is inspiring. That's not what we do here. We try to inspire and motivate and help you be a better you now. Because at this moment, we are in a sick organism. We're in a sick body. We're in a sick society. And for us to get rid of this dis-ease, we need to be aware. We need to be accountable. We need to be responsible. And we need to get on it. And if we don't like something, we need to step up and speak out. And I've seen a lot of that happen, and I think that is incredible. I've mentioned about the woman getting the coat for the homeless man up north here. I think it was in Connecticut. That was phenomenal. Even animal stories. You know, there was one post that I seen recently within the last 24 hours of, a mama dog in her doghouse with her puppies, and then when the pet parent goes out there to check on her, there's a mama cat with kittens, and they're cohabitating together. I think some human beings could learn from that lesson. They could. But looking at the year and how how wibbly wobbly and crazy it's been. It's time to release all of that. And in the season of Yule, in the season of Merry Festivus, if you're a Seinfeld fan, in the level of Christmas, it doesn't matter what faith you are, but it does matter that you're celebrating with family, that you've celebrated with your family and you've given of yourself, whether it was volunteering or whether it was just giving something. Obviously, like in November or Noshember, I gave to charity as well as looking like a woodland creature, having a full beard with no shaving, no trimming whatsoever for a month. I looked like I was out in the middle of the forest. But as uncomfortable as that was, it was all worth the cause. So in December, I gave I gave to charities that were near and dear to me, and one of them were for the Wounded Warrior Project, because they don't get enough attention and they don't get enough respect. And people can do shout outs and tweets all day long, but actions mean a lot too. So that's part of what I had done as well. Take Florida for 60. Well, it's a lot colder than 60 degrees here, but being a native Rhode Islander, I'm okay with that. As long as I can still get my Jeep to where I need to go, and that's all that matters. However, I wouldn't mind being somewhere tropical for the winter. That would be kind of nice. That'd be kind of neat. But ultimately, we've seen a lot of people step up. Yeah, well, you're missing out. It's pretty nice up here, John. Life is what you make it a lot of the time. But I've seen a lot of hope. I've seen a lot of people step up and do the right thing. They've stepped up in such a way where they were like, this is unacceptable. I need to make changes. I just need to make changes. And they have. And we're talking about all ages. I've read stories with children stepping up and doing things too for a big cause. As well as, older folk, you name it, age, gender, it doesn't matter. Now, I send a lot of love and a lot of juju to these people, because it takes a lot more energy and effort and juju to be able to step up to something that is not a popular activity. It's not it's not a popular thing to do. So a lot of times people don't realize that it takes a lot of courage to step up to say, I've been wronged. And I'm saying I've been wronged just to not let it let the topic get too heavy, but a lot of people have been wronged, and a lot of people have been disrespected. And one thing that they have to watch out for, and I mean anyone in power has to watch out for, is that we are listening and we are watching, and we do to make the world a better place. So that's guaranteed. That's for sure. That's without a doubt. So a lot of people have stepped up, and I think that is fantastic. And also too, I've seen also, posts from people right here in the, with the community here with Inside Moonshadow. Also step up, putting up mindful quotes, thinking about what makes their hearts, what makes their heart smile, and putting it out there, either being the reflection or being the light or being the candle, and overall making the big changes that have needed to be said or needed to be done. So honestly, and I wholeheartedly back you up on this, is that if you need to do something because there's a wrong that something that is so wrong it needs to be righted, speak up. You don't want to cause damage, you don't want to cause grief, but stepping up and, calling an authority to let them know this is not okay. That's incredibly important. Being the voice of the heartbeat of what's really happening. Because ultimately, it's again, this is nothing new that we're talking about here. This has happened for quite a long time, but it's never been this prevalent. All of us thought that the world was a better place until this past year. Things changed outrageously. It's been so polarized where people that don't have anything think they're going to get something. And they're being promised they'll get something. All I can say is, don't hold your breath. Now, John's saying a lot of times have been people discouraged because even calling authorities sometimes, okay, well, it can, and this is part of hoping for the best and taking care of people as well. So in your neighborhood, in your community, you could do something. I try to do things on an international scale. I try to do things on a domestic scale. Whatever I feel really brought to do, then I will utilize that. And also, too, a lot of it does go through the cracks. Another perfect example, mental illness. You have people that think vaccinations cause mental illness, and I haven't seen enough actual evidence for that, but it's also been that people have slipped through the cracks of the mental health system. And the health system, people that look really healthy on paper, that are not, it makes their experience a lot harder. So, in looking at it from that perspective, it's really, really difficult to do that and to go there. But there's been a lot of good. And that's the great thing about this. That's the great thing about how the world has turned. So, I firmly believe there will be coming up a revolution in some sort, some way, shape, or form. There's going to be a revolution. And this revolution is going to be a tsunami of change. Now, is this change needed? Absolutely. Do people need to be more informed? Without a doubt. And do families need to stick together? This is where I have to say yes. It's important to stay together. It's important to see the unity in us all being one tribe. Because then at that point, we are able to take care of a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of large problems and issues that we can control. And that's really the important thing here. So I have to applaud all those people that share those posts and go out and do things, doing really, really great things out there. Like volunteering for a Habitat for Humanity. There is someone that is an amazing person. She helps building houses for vets and military people that have been out of the loop, that have been ignored. So that's also a big part of people found their heart. So, as in The Grinch That Stole Christmas, that wonderful animation, amazing story from Dr. Seuss, even the Grinch, his heart grew 2 times larger. And I'm hoping that will happen. But people found their heart. And people found that they needed to get up, stand up, do something. They needed to make change happen. They needed to start something, get something moving. And they did. And that is where, towards the end of the year, even though there's been a lot of broken promises, not that the promises were any better, but there have been a lot of broken promises. And there is the ongoing epidemic
of either people being clueless or people being clued in. So I definitely challenge you to be clued in and to be mindful and wake up and disconnect from what all you see, hear, and read, and start thinking for your own and start being a free thinker. Start realizing where this world is going and how you could change it for the next generation, for our generation and the future. And if we do that, I think that will make a huge aspect, a huge difference in how we see things, how we perceive things, because ultimately that is where we have the issue. Okay, now John's saying, one good thing I watched on the weekend, I met the family with Saudi Arabia and their son playing in a park. That's pretty cool. And also I found a lot of people that are global citizens that are looking at things and saying, look, we don't even, like one of the articles I read recently, in fact it was yesterday, was about a girls' party. And in that girls' party they all dressed like geishas. And what happens? Someone chimed in, oh my God, you know, of course they're judgy, they're not thinking out of the box, they're just looking at it for exactly what they see. Well, someone chimed in, and she was Japanese, in which the culture of the geisha came from. She explained that a bunch of girls being dressed as geishas were not necessarily disrespectful or even racist. So that's where I'm saying that imitation is a little bit different than inflammation. It's a little different than knocking someone that's already down. First of all, where is it in that? Where is the takeaway in that? There is no takeaway. You don't look any better by doing that. However, a lot of people have stepped up and have changed the worldview of what is going on. Now, of course, you could see it. You could see a lot more happening, and I see this. I do see this revolution even stepping up even higher. A lot more people are accountable, and I see a lot of changes all the way around. I'm hoping changes for the better, by the way. So, what can you do in this time of being at the end of the year or close to the end of the year? You can go ahead and really start to also add to your own life event. Also be able to make your life a better place. Honestly, it's really, really all about how do you want to leave your legacy in the world. And that's really important. If you are a rule follower or a follower to the point there, you can put the wrong people in office. Well, it's a pleasure. You have a good night now. And blessings to you too. But ultimately, this is what it's boiled down to, is that the challenge of all of us at this moment in time is to start stepping up. We are all, in one way, shape, or form, influencers and motivators and inspirational people. And when we get to that point, we can find it. We could find what's happening. We can do what needs to be done. So that's really the big part of it. So what can we do? What can you do? At the end of this year, it's time to now let go. Let go of a lot of what's happened, because if you think about it, it's now the past. What we were talking about 55 minutes ago, it has changed. It's no longer it's no longer the topic right this second, right here and now. It's now then. So in the same way, we don't have control of that anymore. So there needs to be some big changes made. How can you make these big changes? Now, I've been posting, if you're following me, you've noticed I've been posting morning meditations every morning. And these morning meditations are pretty much meant for even 5 minutes at a time. And they are going to help you get you to where you need to be, to ground you, empower you, and bring you to a place where you feel that you can get something done. You can go forward. You don't need the government to be able to do that. You don't need anyone else but you, but your voice, but your passion, what your want, your need, all of those things. And with that, that's how we can make a better place. So looking at it from this point forward, we're looking at the last week, and this is the last episode of this year, 2017. But we have the ability to actually put our best foot forward and actually make some major changes. Actually help people along the way. That is an amazing thing. Now, self-care is incredibly important. I've mentioned self-care multiple times, and being mindfulness way back with multiple broadcasts, but it is really, really important. So looking at letting go of what is no longer serving you is really, really important. I know coming up next week, we have a full moon coming. So I will be speaking about a purging, if you will, of a lot of things of old. We need to get rid of them and get rid of them out of your system and out of your life. And upon doing that, then you're going to be able to find the strength to continue moving forward into 2018. Now, coming into 2018, there's a lot of things that are going to be changing as well. So life as we know it right now, is changing. And it's continuously changing. And the energy itself is continually changing. And when you realize that life itself is what's changing, then you feel more accountable and more responsible to do that. That's an interesting thing. Because the energy that you think and the energy that the way you live is what you're putting out there. So being aware of that and changing and altering the energy for better, that's the way to go. So this year has been quite a ride. But with a little deep breathing, with a little, if you do yoga, going back to the gym, maybe eating healthier. With all those things, we will be able to get past a lot of this malfunction that's going on with the world today, what's going on within society. We have a lot of very prominent people stepping up to say, I know what this is about. I've been there. And that is the really important thing, is being able to know what you can change and what you can't change. And one of those things is, of course, like in the Serenity Prayer, the ability to change what you can, the wisdom to know the difference, and of course, the strength to be able to change it if you need to. So all of that comes into play here, with the point of focusing on what's better and doing what we need to do. So that is incredibly important. Now, coming into the end of the year, here are a couple of techniques that you could use to kind of purge your excess negative energy. One of the things you can do is you can go ahead and write a list of what you no longer need and no longer want. It could be a characteristic, it could be a personality flaw, it could be something right or wrong, it could be so many different things. But it would be for the best interest of yourself and other people that this is changed or this is gone. So that's really important to focus on. And then in stepping up with your social activism and just sharing posts, trying to be motivational, trying to be inspiring. And I will say, I have seen a lot of people begin live streaming. I've seen a lot of people still putting out a lot of people putting out their best foot forward and really pushing for the best and pushing for the better in the world, which is just very well needed. So these are things that we can do to start changing things. Also too, healthier choices, being more fit mentally, spiritually, physically. All those things are really super important at this point in time. Because where your energy is now, where's your mentality? Where's your thought pattern? It's elsewhere. Because we are being moved or kind of coerced to thinking that it's only going to get worse. I don't believe it will. So, and also too, to bring awareness into this too, is that no matter how many people or no matter how many things you hear, no matter what you see try to stop you, it is time to stick a hand out there and say, look, I will not allow this in my periphery. I will not allow this in my life. It's time to let this go. And when you do that, believe it or not, that's half the battle. Also going into the new year. You don't want to go into the new year with the same attitude you had at the beginning of this year. I've seen some of the nicest, most caring individuals change almost as I watched. Because they were just so adamant about what is or is not happening. Everyone wants a cause, everyone wants a fight. But the people signing on to the fight, they're fighting for the wrong side. So this is all very, very important. Coming into the new year with a new, fresh perspective of life and pushing forward into changing your view or altering your view for bigger and better things. Because, of course, if you put it out there, it's going to come back to you. And sometimes it takes a while because time is not linear in that space. But in focusing on that, it will get better and you will attain your goal. You will get there. But how you get there is important. Using respect is important. Treating people kindly, no matter what, is important. If you have any fears, now thinking about it, if you have the ability to change one person's situation for that moment, one moment, one smile, one conversation. This happened to me just actually yesterday. Speaking with people I never knew before, I just met. And in talking with them, it brought the true life purpose of what's meant to be next. So I would definitely say that coming up in the new year, a lot of change will be happening, and ultimately who we are, we're changing as we go along. Whether we see it or not, whether we know it or not, things are in play to change and mold us to figure out where we're going to go. Where are you going to go from here? So taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, good self-care, as well as putting your best foot forward out there. Not something inauthentic, not something that's corrupt, not something that's racially bigoted, divided, or anything like that, but something that you could go ahead and at the end of the day look at your reflection and be proud of yourself. And that is where we need to be. And if we start to choose that, then things will get better. People in power won't stay in power. We can stop and end bullying. We can end suffering. And I've seen that. And I've seen people do that. I've seen people make the change to really put out there a different energy, a new focus. Because there's been so much change. Now coming up, also to mention, next week, we have a full moon. And we're going to get deeper in the full moon next week. But you have the option towards the end of this week to fully let go everything that's no longer needed. And so I suggest to you for you to purge your energy and change your energy between now and then. That is powerful. That's such a powerful movement. It's just a powerful energy to do that. And then once we get from that point forward, there will be change and people will be altered and there will be a lot more enlightenment and less of what you see right now. Now I can tell you that I'm not out there as much as I should be, and I intend to be out there more often. It needs to happen. This movement's really, really important. People need to step up, step out, protest, talk to the people. Utilize your strength, whatever strengths you have. Offer to help someone in need, just because. All these things are super important. And if we can do a little bit of that, if all of us can do just a little bit of that, then we can actually make the world a better place. Not with agendas, not with ego, not with greed, but honestly, making major, serious change happening. So that's really what's needed now. That's what's really needed at this point. So the world is shifting and we need to shift with it and actually start shedding light on what isn't working. Making things happen in such a way where no matter what, We're part of the resistance. Recently I was watching Star Wars, and I saw how the Republic comes up, and of course it's a story. This is fiction. But there's more truth. What is that saying? I'm trying to remember the saying. Art imitates life. It's very much like that. And that's a lot that's happening today. What we see on our televisions, what we see on our programs, it's very much like that today. But the great thing about that is now we can go ahead and push forward into a new year. This new year is going to be far better than it was last year, because it has to happen. It's due. So I challenge all of you to do that. I challenge all of you to just be a better version of you from this point on. What can you do? Little things. Think about eating healthier. Think about taking better care of yourself. Think about taking better care of your family. Think about how you can shift the energy to make the world a better place. And I think if you do that, I think that is going to make the major ripple by throwing that small pebble into the water, into the pond, and start moving what needs to happen. Because ultimately, you are in charge of your life and how you help others. You have the choice. So even though all of us can be very pessimistic with a lot of what's happening, I want to say there's hope. There's hope because there's a lot of people out in the world that are stepping up. And they may listen to or be focused by other inspirational people and then put that forward. And we're doing more and more of that. So coming into the end of the year, and we'll summarize this up, or summarize, is there are things that you no longer need, so you can discard them. There are going to be relationships that are going to drop away. There are things and essences and energies that no longer serve you. And you'll find that getting easier to get through. Communication will be better now as well, since now obviously it's not in retrograde anymore, Mercury. But even then, you could still make the change. You could still make it better. So now, what can you do to make the world a better place? What can you do to make yourself a better person? It's not for me to judge or to criticize, because we don't do that here. But you know that you have strengths that you're not utilizing. You know you have weaknesses that could be helped and healed. So now, finding that out, I urge and challenge you. Hey, Michael. Well, nice to see you. So there are choices that you can make to bring light into the darkness and open the world up to a better place. And ultimately, we can get further in what's happening. We can make things better. We are all global. We're all part of the same tribe. And it's up to us. Us. Not people in 1%. Not the so-called government that's looking out for us. Thank you, Michael. Ultimately, we have the choice of making choices that are far better now. If you haven't done anything yet, there's still a chance because the year's almost over. I would suggest writing a note of things you want to purge, things you want to let go of. Things of an energetic nature, things of physical nature. So that's also part of it. So in looking at it from that perspective, and believe me, it's been such an exhausting year, a challenging year. Crazy year. But I believe it's going to get better. And it's going to get better because you're going to see a lot more resistance. You're going to see a lot more protests. You're going to see a lot more movements. You're going to see a lot more things coming down the way that's going to have to push the world into a state of healing. So even then, people that no longer are needed will get pushed to the side. So that's the way to do it. Do it by showing the example. And we have to show that example to anyone and everyone without being bossy, without judging or criticizing, but good deeds, doing things just because, focusing on trying to be the best person, but also putting out the best energy you can. And it's not always easy to do that, but I have faith in you. So ultimately, what you see and what you feel does gain root. It does manifest. So be aware of what you manifest now from this point forward. If something isn't working, try to find a solution. Try to meditate on it. Try to think about it. Try to open yourself up to your intuitive nature coming through and making changes as well. Because many of us are instinctual, intuitive, and know when something just isn't right. Some people just know when something isn't right. So, we're going to bring the broadcast to an end, but it's been a wild year. A lot of new things are coming around. And 2018 looks like there's a lot of new things coming. Changes are coming, whether we like it or not. But to ask the question, what part of the change you're going to be? Are you going to be part of the change for good? Or part of the change that stays the same, in the same BS? The same stagnancy? It's up to you. So, ultimately, I'm wishing the best for anyone checking out this broadcast, anyone who's had such a difficult year, and I know people from all over, different races, different faiths, everything, that have gone through quite a bit this year. We've lost people. So I want to wish the best of blessings, and just challenge you to focus on what you can change. Not fret about what you can't change anymore, and push it forward. Because ultimately, we all deserve not to suffer. Ultimately, we all deserve good. And if you know that, And if you apply that, then things will get better in 2018. So, a lot of new changes coming up. I want to thank you all for being here. Stay tuned. And I apologize for today. This broadcast has been a very exhausting day, but I wanted to reach out and still connect with all of you here with the Inside the Moonshadow, Inside the Moonshadow circle of people. All of you matter to me. So I'm wishing the best of blessings and a Merry Christmas, a Happy Yule, and Merry Festivus, and however you enjoy your holiday, however you express your faith, your spirituality, I send you many blessings. So I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you very much for being part of this journey so far. This is the 102nd episode, and the fact that you guys are still here watching the replays and being here, some new people coming in, subscribing, checking me on different social media, asking me questions, sending me direct messages, reaching out. I appreciate it all. All of you inspire me to do this, and I look forward to helping you from now into the new year and further. So thank you so much for being here. And as always, be strong, be amazing, be you. Blessings to all, light and love, and we'll catch you next week. Next week we'll be talking about some new things you can do to get into the new year, as well as talking about full moon magic. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing you all again. So if you are enjoying this broadcast and the share button, as well as if you want to be notified when I go log on, when I'm live, or when I put up any of my videos, you can click on the bell. So thank you very much for being here. God bless, blessed be, Merry Meet, and Happy Yule, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. See you soon. See you next week.